Welcome to the Daily Dish with New York Times bestselling author Leanne Ely. Putting vibrancy back into your everyday life and feeding your heart, mind, body, and soul. Join us every day at 1 p.m. Eastern for Motivational Monday, Tuesday's Tip, Wise Woman's Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Food Fight Friday, and of course Q&A, where no question is off limits, and Soulful Saturday. Here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
Soulful Saturday! Who is in the house? Come on down. Let's get busy. Look, you're already here. Yeah, what's tonight, you guys? Pajama party. Who's on? Who's coming today? I see Jama party. That's what I see in the announcements. That's pretty funny. Hi, Eileen, Jackie, Joanne, Lizzie, Sarah. I want to see those pajamas, Sarah. You better, you got a lot of expectation on you. Lizzie's in the house. There's Jackie. Good to see everyone. Jen is here. Doris, Marianne, Jerry, Kathy, Carla. So good to see you all. And I know you're all coming because I'm happy today. I'm wearing my happy t-shirt, even though the dog nipped, well, you know, it's those little tiny razor nails. So I got 2 little marks here. And if I look tired, yeah. I am. Hey, Paula, Juanita, Corliss. Good to see you. Oh, well, don't you forget about that, Eileen. I expect you to show up. Lisa, B, good to see you. I'm so glad you're all here. It's going to be a good day in the neighborhood. Beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous out there. Chilly, but, you know, I'll take it. And today I have my hot melt mix. Look at that. You see it all foamy? I was too tired to literally get out of my seat and go get a glass and do it properly. So I have this Pellegrino here and I was drinking it out of my teacup, which I want to show it to you. This is the beginning of anything you want. That's lipstick all over there, sorry. And I decided, you know, that sounds so good. So good. Pajama expectations. Sarah, you got a million of them. She's here all night, y'all. So Saturday, Soulful Saturday, we always change our quote. This one's so good, you guys. This is an unknown quote by this author. By this author that we don't know. Your body can stand almost anything. It's your mind you've got to convince. What is that truth bomb about? If that's a truth bomb for you, if it's a truth bomb, I want to see, drop me some bombs. Put some bombs right there in the, you know, or zaps, or give me some fire, but drop some emojis. I want to see some action on that one. This one I love. It just lit me up. It's your mind you've got to convince. Now there's a book, and I know I've told you about it. It's called Can't Hurt Me by Scoggins is his last name. Somebody stop me. Oh my goodness. Okay, Sarah, I'm sorry, but we're just gonna have to slap you around a little bit. Marianne loved that one. Here come the bombs. Love it. Woo! Yes, and you know what? There's Melissa. Hi, Melissa. Glad you're here. I am telling you, it's your mind you have to convince. This Scoggins guy, and by the way, I made the mistake of getting this Audible book, and it was full of speaking of bombs, F-bomb this, F-bomb that. I had a hard time with the language, to be quite honest. You know, not that I'm so pristine and proper, but seriously, that's a lot of language. But the message was exactly this. Your body can stand almost anything. He's the only Navy SEAL that did 3 hell weeks in a year in back to back, you know, whatever. And that's it. Can't Hurt Me by David Scoggins. That's it right there. It's incredible book, incredible story. And we all have that capacity. All of us. I hope that lights you up. And I love the bombs going off, by the way. So good. So good. So anyway, I had to tell you all about that because, I mean, I'm just absolutely dropping it. And speaking of, I mean, like, what was that? Oh, ho, ho, ho. Do you know we have a new Take Back Your Life planner? It is coming. It's not even in the shop yet, y'all. It's got even some self-care ideas, a place for your weight and measurements. This is so that you can take 12 weeks and take your goals to the next level. Because, you know, we don't do things a year at a time. I don't know about you. I'm way too ADD. So we're doing them every 12 weeks. And that way we can weigh and measure, literally process. Oh my goodness. Wait, you haven't even seen amazing yet. The daily planner in there is great. Then there's some quotes all through. You just are going to go berserk. Plus the spine. Now I'll be announcing all of this, but we are going to actually have a class for this. I'm going to teach you how to use it like never before. We've also got some other workshops on record that you'll have access to, but I'm really excited about this one because we've leveled up our game. Isn't that what we're about? We always need to be leveling up our game. Level it up. Ooh, Sarah just set her new 90-day goals. I can't wait to hear about them. I've just sent mine too, and I am actually going to get it into my new planner because it's so bad. Ass. That's right. Badassery is what we're about, not half-assery. Remember that? Badassery, not half-assery. So our quote decks too, that's another thing. You know, these are things that help us on our journey. They help us to succeed. And these quote decks are just blowing me away. Here's one. Time flies, but the good news is you're the pilot. That's a good one, right? One of my favorite ones is your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts. So all these little truth bombs are all just sitting here in this one little deck like this, and they come with this fabulous little easel just like this. So you can put these cards right here on your desk and let them do the work. You can check them out at savingdinner.com/quote. That's simple. That's simple. This is the beginning of anything you want. What? I like this. You know, that's the whole point. If you've read the 12-week goal, the 12-week year is what it is. That book. If you've read that book, their whole premise is you can get so much more done. As a matter of fact, even a year's worth of goals if you just compact everything down, because then it stays in front of you all the time. And it really is true. And it was a needle mover for me in my life. And it's why I use that same premise for our Take Back Your Life planner. And you'll see, I mean, my stuff is a whole lot different than theirs, simply because theirs is for business and a bunch of men, and we're a bunch of women. We have different needs. Our Get Lean is our supplement of the week. You need to check this out because the studies are amazing. It's all about Get Lean is conjugated linoleic acid. You know, I'm so tired I can hardly say that anymore. But if you look at the studies in PubMed, you're going to see studies that show that taking this supplement actually may help with deep visceral belly fat. That's the most dangerous kind, by the way, and thigh fat. Somebody say thigh fat? What? Yeah, every single day, ladies. Every single day. savingdinner.com/show. You'll also get the updated body clutter ebook that I wrote with all the new nutrition. So if you've got the old body clutter book, it needed an update. And then you'll also get our food planner. So check it out. We always have a deal for the supplement of the week. You should be watching that on a regular basis. And you should be collecting our mugs, because our mugs are thebomb.com. They're mindful mugs because they teach you how to be mindful with your eating and to take a minute and let that stuff kind of set in so that you're not doing stuff that you're going to regret later. That's savingdinner.com/mug. And you can find out exactly how to get one for free, because you can. You can. How about that? Look at everybody. Yeah, you're going to have to check out that book. It's really good. It's a really, really good book. So Full Bloom, it's coming up. Do you see it? And guess what? Should I show something? Oh, what was that? Oh, I don't know what was that? Do you know what that was? That was part of the swag bag that just went flying by. And I'm not going to tell you what it was. I'm just going to tease you, because those swag bags, we're putting them together and they're starting to go out. All of our goodies are there. So you get a virtual swag bag. You also get digital, really. You also get something in the mail with love from us. And it's all happening right now. Get Saturday Held. It's in what, 3 weeks now? April 24th. It's in 3 weeks. Do not mess this up. I want you there. savingdinner.com/bloom to read all about it. I'm already getting my stuff ready for it. I'm bawling my eyes out as I do it. I mean, of course, right? That's how it works up. Also, we have a pop-up boutique for all of you lovelies who are coming to our, I can't wait for this full bloom, by the way. All of you who are coming, we have full bloom gear. All kinds of stuff. Hoodies. We have a really cool water bottle that says full bloom. Where do you see it? savingdinner.com/pop for pop-up boutique. POP. That's all you have to do. That's how you have to do it. Sarah says I'm enough. Thank you, Sarah. I hope so. Lynn, look at Lynn. Look at Lynn, everybody. Down 23 pounds since the middle of February. Thanks to mindset change and vision board inspiration. That's a good testimonial right there. Grab it. Grab it. Let's grab that testimonial and put it everywhere and let everyone know it's all here. Right? Good for you, Lynn. I'm proud of you. I'm very, very proud of you. I just love celebrating your success. It does light me up. And because right now I am so drained and tired from Mr. Lincoln's antics, I might start crying just because I just have no control over my emotions right now. I'm just slap happy. Okay, so you get to witness this. And today we're going to be really, I want to talk about some really good stuff, I think, that are just going to help you out a ton when we're talking about conflicts of interest. You ever hear about that? Oh, I can't do this, or lawyers know. Hey, Sarah, lawyers know this, right? About conflicts of interest. You have to say, well, I can't represent you because I already represent this guy, and you guys are like at a crossroads. You're just once against each other. So therefore, I have a conflict of interest and I can't represent you. Got it? Well, we have conflicts of interest within ourselves. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that? I am telling you right now, it is absolutely mind-boggling how this is just the case. And we don't really think about it, though. We never really kind of go with it. It's just, it's really ridiculous. Sarah says she has to sign a conflict of interest form for every case she takes. See? But what if we had to do that with ourselves? What a good idea that is. And this is why we have a contract, this contract that is just really good stuff that helps us to understand that when we decide to make a change, we need to really contract with ourselves and get rid of the conflicts of interest because they have it. So when our values collide, it feels like the end of the world because we're saying one thing and we're doing quite another, right? So but we have to also understand something too. And this is the magnificence of being, fearfully and wonderfully made. And this human being right here, right now on earth in this place is that we're a dichotomy of values. We are, that's really what it's about. Do you guys remember, anybody read the Dr. Dolittle books? I read them all when there was several. I'm pretty sure there was like 2 or 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken. But Dr. Dolittle was it a favorite book. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And one of my favorite creatures in it was the push me, pull you. So a push me, pull you, for those of you who are not up on your Dr. Dolittle, is this. It's a combination. It's an animal that is a mixture between a gazelle and a unicorn. And it looks like one gigantic llama, and it's got a head on two heads on opposite sides. That's why they call it push me, pull you, because one wants to go one way and the other wants to go that way. You ever have that happen for you in your life? I know I have. That's the conflict that we all know. That's the whole thing. That's what we all know about. We live with that internally. I was going to say eternally, but no, internally. And we live with that with single one of our decisions that we make. We try to get to this place of just being completely in alignment. But sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. So there's a conflict, and we believe and know that, for example, that eating healthy is where we are. That's our value. That's our value. Our value is that we believe strongly. We eat organically. We've got our fridges just stocked with all the right stuff. We've got our everything there. And then what happens, right? What happens? We find ourselves in the fast food lane, and in our laps is a bag with hamburger, French fries, and a Coke. How'd that happen? We got a conflict of interest right there, don't we? Because we're out of alignment with what we're saying our values are. But this is the thing. Like the push me, pull you, and we're a mixture of two different things, and we have two heads on either side, right? Sometimes it does feel like you have two different heads. And, gazelles, if you think about this, gazelles are beautiful, aren't they? And they're quick and they're amazing and all of this. And here's a myth. They're not faster than a cheetah. They just outmaneuver the cheetah so they don't get caught. And they're all over the place. And cheetahs can't zig and zag the way a gazelle can. And they have this thing called storking or something, and stonking, I think is what it is. And they just leap up with straight legs, just really high in the air. It's really bizarre. You can go to YouTube and take a look at it and just, what are they doing? They're letting their prey know, you think that you're the most athletic? It's me. It's me. I am the gazelle after all. And they're, of course, older gazelles and others are maybe not going to be able to do it, but there's a lot of gazelles that can outwit their prey. And then, of course, what are unicorns? Unicorns can be caught by maidens, by the way, only by a maiden, and they're beautiful, they're unique, they've got that long thing, they're loving, they're gentle, and they're pure in spirit. And that's us. We're pure in spirit with our intentions with what we're going to do. And then, like a gazelle, we're all over the place and trying to outmaneuver the cheetah. And sometimes it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes we end up as dinner, and sometimes we leave it all there and in the bag of fast food that we previously said, that's not what we want. There's our conflict of interest. And when we lose all sense of value and decide it's too hard or whatever it is that we've done, we have to come to our senses, if you will, or come to terms with our conflicted self and understand there's nothing wrong with us. That doesn't mean that we're not good people. That doesn't mean that we're not worthy. It is not a condemnation of who you are when you have these conflicted values. It hurts to our very, very soul, and we feel awful about it, don't we? But it's not you, it's what you did. And that needs to be definitely, there needs to be a dichotomy, a huge space between that. Because when we make a decision, by the way, that we're not worth it and that we're not valuable enough to separate those things out, that's when we start to really go down into that negative loop that we don't want. What we need to do is understand that part and parcel of this whole human experience is trying to sort that stuff out. Because like I said, there's always a jumble that we're dealing with in our heads. But the good news is that when we get to this place of saying, you know what, it's our worth isn't at all who we are. Our worth is not based on what we do, but who we are. And who are we? We know who we are. We are fearfully and wonderfully made by God himself, put here on purpose for purpose. And you can't argue with that. Because if anything is going to be perfect on this side of glory, it's going to be that very thing. That we're perfect in our imperfections. That we're perfectly made for being here with all of our warts, with all of our flaws, with all of our, oh my gosh, I did it again, with all of it. And that is so critical because, we're going to be talking about this in great detail I am enough for full bloom, because you are. And when we see this, doesn't everything just shift? Doesn't everything just shift? Because instead of getting down on yourself and beating yourself up and everything, you just say, you know what? This behavior of mine that I have done here, I just don't want that anymore. I don't want to be doing this anymore. It doesn't mean that we are less than. We are not. So here's the contrast, right? It's a contrast, because power is found in honoring who we are. All these warts and all, that's where your power is. I've told a story. I'm sure you guys are going to go, oh, I've heard this story before. But I'm going to tell it again. I don't care. Just let me know. Here's for going better for best. Sarah says, learning about brain function. Oh, I mean, everything has been, that's been the whole needle mover in my, that's why I'm telling you all this stuff. Because when we understand that our brains are either for us or against us, depending on the way we allow them to go, everything changes. And that's why I'm telling you about all this stuff. You know, we're beautiful messes. We really are. Everybody's messy. Everybody is human. Everybody's experiencing something maybe a little bit differently, but we're in it together, y'all. And it doesn't mean you're less than because you mess up, period. It just means you're human, you know? And we have ways of getting a little bit better and a little bit better. That's why we are the rising tide. That's how those boats lift, because we hold each other up. We support it. Look at what everybody just said about Lynn. You know, how much do we love Lynn? You know, we're so proud of her. We just think the world of her. And that, my friends, is what we do. And when we're doing this kind of work, everyone's here on purpose for purpose. Everyone's here to love each other up and encourage and support. And everybody knows that Lynn didn't do it perfect. Sarah didn't. I didn't. Lucy didn't. None of us did. But guess what? We're here celebrating anyway. We're celebrating, and we're here in our own unique glory with our push me, pull you going on. Look at you, you know? God looks at you with grace-colored glasses. Amen. He looks at all of us with grace-colored glasses and says, you know what? Boy, did you mess up, but I picked you anyway. I chose you anyway. And guess what? You're here, right here in this time. I mean, why didn't he put you into the 17th century? Why did he put you here now? Why? You know, we're not going to know the answer this side of glory, but I'm going to tell you what. Perfection is on the other side. And your imperfect perfection here, just the fact that you've been created, is enough. So, you know, the story I'm going to tell you is just super quick. And it was about when I finally had that thing called self-acceptance, because that's basically what I'm talking about here. And self-acceptance is like, we give a lot of lip service to self-acceptance, don't we? When really, in fact, we're not. We're beating ourselves up. We're looking in the mirror. We're tearing ourselves down. And we have this negative loop going in our heads. And our thinking is just sucks. Can I just be honest? When I went to the Lane Bryant store with Marla, this was in 2000, I don't know, 4, 5, something like that, way back. And it was, we had a great time. We went and had this huge, fabulous Italian dinner. And you can imagine, it was a carb fest. And then we had dessert and we had wine. And I mean, honestly, I probably, you know, could have been rolled out of the door. But we went and tried on clothes at the Lane Bryant. And I was just like, okay, let's just go there. And for me, it was coming to terms with, girlfriend, you don't fit in stuff that isn't in the Lane Bryant store. And I went in there and I went, wow, cute clothes, finally, you know, something that's going to fit, because I had always gone to the department store and just looked for the bigger sizes, and it wasn't enough, and it wasn't big enough, and it didn't fit, and it, you know, everything was terrible. So I'm in the trying on room and I'm finding all these things. I had clothes. I mean, you know, this much. I'm trying to show you this meant, seriously, this many clothes. Everything. I remember the day that I left there, I spent $500. I'd never spent that kind of money on clothes before, you know, really. 500, maybe even more. I don't even remember. It was so many clothes and bags. I just felt like whatever. But I remember being in the fitting room, trying stuff on, and the fitting, the sales associate walks in there and she's handing me stuff and she looks at me and she goes, really? She's looking at me sitting there. Now remember, 2005, my children were born in 1990 and 1991. So do the math. They're in their teens. And I'm in a nursing bra. A nursing bra. Do you know why? Because I didn't have enough self-worth, self-acceptance, that unless I was thin, I wasn't worth a decent bra. I wasn't worth good clothes. I wasn't worth it. And it was right that she gave me a new bra, she put it on, and she pulled the girls up. Everything looked better. And do you know, at that moment, click. I get it. Accept and love myself right now, right here, right today, where I am. And it was all good. And I left with all those clothes and new bras, and I got matching panties. I'd never done anything like that before. But that was glorious. And it opened the door and it opened my eyes to accept myself. All the conflict, all the stuff that doesn't work, all the things that I do this over here and I do that over there. And you know what it feels like, right? We are a big mess, like I said. We'll find ourselves laughing on one moment and then crying the next. We purport to do good and then we're talking about somebody behind their backs. We are a conflict. We are. And Sarah's just saying beauty from ashes, joyful morning. Beauty from ashes was one of my most amazing Bible verses that really helped me understand that God redeems the irredeemable. And God gives us that grace to do that with ourselves. Listen, if he can do it for us, why can't we do it for ourselves? That's what I'm talking about today. That's what I'm talking about. So while we are this just conflicted, beautiful mess, the contrast of who we are, that's where the creativity comes in. That's where the building up comes in. That's where we have an opportunity and we have the grace to create the vibrant lives that we want to live. Because we recognize it as who we are. We see that we haven't accepted ourselves. We see that we haven't given ourselves the worthiness that God sees it in us. Why can't we do that with ourselves? Honestly, therein lies the conflict of interest. If he can do that for us and we can't do it for ourselves, what are we really saying to him? It's not enough. I don't have gratitude for that, or I'd just rather get wrapped up in wearing a nursing bra because whatever. This is where we have to come back to. So what I want to say to you is one thing, and that is that your beautiful self, where your higher self lives, your soul, the Holy Spirit, your intuition, your knowing, all this yummy stuff that's inside of us, the stuff we forget to nurture, all of this inside, we already know this stuff. We already know this. We just don't practice it. We're not in alignment with it. And so what do we need to do to get into that? I want you to start listening to your higher self, by the way. I do. Because when you're listening to your higher self, this is the God part of you. We are made in the image of God, in the image of him. So if that's the case, then let's get busy. Number one, you need to do, have patience with yourself and recognize when this stuff comes along. It will, promise, it will. That's what happens. So when it comes along, just say, okay, you know what? Patience. He's got patience with me. Why can't I have patience with me? Let's work this stuff through and do it. Number two, be brave. Be brave about what you do. And just instead of shrinking back, go forward and say, I'm going to do it anyway. And watch what happens. Watch what happens. That's where the magic comes. That's where the sparkle happens. That's where everything starts to magically come together. Amazing how that works. And number three, maybe forgiveness is holding you back. Maybe you need to forgive yourself. Maybe you need to forgive somebody else. Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe you can just say, you know what, forget about the forgiveness. I just need to get into the place of radical acceptance. Because that forgiveness stuff, I just keep trying, it's not working. Okay, fine. Let it go. Radically accept whatever is that you need to accept. That way we can move on. This is the thing we need to do. Number 4 is willingness. Are you willing to go there? Are you willing to allow for all these things? Are you willing to live in contrast? Are you willing to accept this undeniable truth that your worth is not based on what you do, it's based on who you are? Are you willing to do that? If you're willing to do that, you're opening the door to unmitigated grace. It just flows. It just flows. And number 5, last but not least, is if you have an expectation that life is working out on your behalf for you, it's just going to happen. Remember your reticular activating system and the red Prius. You know, you want to buy a red Prius and suddenly you see red Priuses everywhere. It's not because they weren't there. It's just it wasn't in your awareness. It wasn't on your radar. Put your life, your own life, on your own radar screen and be aware of what's going on. And if you don't like something, change it without the self-flagellation. Just allow. Things happen for me, not to me. Exactly. Amen. And Sarah's right, because you know what happens when we have that attitude? It's like, what can I do? That's when you start making beauty from ashes. That's when you start to see, you know, this is not the end of the world. It's the beginning of something else, even when I can't see it, even if it's awful, you know. And I'm not going to go through every single scenario. Of course not. I can't. Just be crazy. But we have the ability at any time to step into this kind of radical acceptance about ourselves, of living in this conflict of interests that we have within ourselves, but of being loving to ourselves so that we can, in turn that all around and be loving toward others. When we have that kind of a value on ourselves, it's amazing how much more we value others and how much better our lives run, simply because of accepting ourselves radically like this. It's everything. And I'll tell you what, I know you've got it in you, and I hope to see you at Full Bloom, because we're going to even go way deeper than this and into a lot of other fun stuff as we discover that we are enough. And Full Bloom is on savingdinner.com/bloom. Don't forget to check out the pop-up boutique at savingdinner.com/pop. And you know what? I'm going to see you on Monday for Motivational Monday. We go dark on Sundays. Don't forget about that. Gives you a chance to go catch up. And if you're not getting our newsletter, it's time, because our newsletter has all the show notes and you want to see them because Amber does them. They're great stuff, and it's going to give you the stuff that maybe you missed. I appreciate the fact that you show up, that you share this video, and that you are just a part of this community. That's enough for me. I appreciate you so much. Peace be with you. I'll see you on Monday.
Thanks for watching. You can find us on YouTube on the Saving Dinner channel or on the Saving Dinner Facebook page. Check back daily for new episodes, Monday to Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you missed the live show, you can watch the replay. Until next time, pinkies up.